Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the fourth Sports Overtime of the high school fall sports season. I'm Jaden Jagtiani.
And I'm Jake Boss. We've got action from 9 contests spanning a whole bunch of different conferences around northern Michigan on a gorgeous night under the lights.
It was really nice out there. At least where I was, it was nice. I know some games had some rain delays, but where I was, where you were,
I was as well.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. And we're going to kick things off with our Benton Baker game of the week as the Glen Lake Lakers hit the road to take on the Reed City Coyotes. The Lakers, they came into this one at 3-0, but this was definitely their toughest test yet. The Coyotes, 2-1, and they already took down the reigning Division VI state champion. They're ready to defend their home field. Picked things up late in the second quarter with the Lakers up 7-6, but it's the Coyotes driving. This handoff goes to Jack Deesh, and he rumbles off a long run before stepping out of bounds. And on the next Coyote snap, the ball would be mishandled, and the Lakers would recover deep in their own territory. But on the ensuing Glen Lake possession, it's Keaton Lacrosse back to pass, firing over the middle. It's picked off by Reed City's Kaysen Kopic. His run back sets them up with great field position. Coyotes would cash in just a few plays later. Landon Jackson finding Peyton Gogolowski in the end zone. Coyotes take the lead 12-7. Their student section are loving that one. Glen Lake trying to answer late in the first half. It's Lacrosse finding Bowden Fisher for a first down, but time would run out on the Lakers. The Coyotes would be up 5 to start the second half. But on the first play of the second half, it's another fumbled snap, and the Lakers would take over deep in Coyotes territory. They would cash in on the first play from scrimmage as Lacrosse finds Fisher. The Lakers going to retake the lead. But the Coyotes, they would go to work on their next drive. Kopic gets the edge, picks up a nice chunk play down the sidelines, and well, Reed City, they punch it in a couple plays later. It's Deesh following his blocks into the end zone. The Coyotes take the lead, and they would go on to win this one, 28-14, the final score.
And McBain is currently 3-0, winning a tight one against Beal City last week. They'd host the Roscommon Bucks tonight in conference play. McBain on track to keep their 7-year playoff streak alive, picking up the action in the second quarter. Ramblers already up 42-7 with the ball, and on a reverse goes to Caleb Miller, who bounces outside for a nice gain of around 20 into enemy territory. But the Bucks had some renewed juice on defense in the second half. Landon Kurt got that handoff, but Toby Bigford with the big-time stop. Now fourth down for the Ramblers. Quarterback Benjamin Rodenbaugh slings that one, but Sawyer Griffiths able to get in there and get a hand on it to force the turnover. Now how about some special teams magic? Jacob Hart fields a punt and can jog to the end zone. Might have been helped by a holding call, so we'd run it back and try again. This time Trenton Brunick gets a free run at it, gets the hand on it, and the ball would ricochet over to the 1-yard line. Bucks recovered it, but McBain would punch it in off the turnover on downs as they go to win 59-14.
And down in Big Rapids, the Cardinals welcomed in the Chippewa Hills Warriors. BR looking to win their third game in a row, and the Warriors, they're looking for their first win of the season. The Cardinals coming out fired up in front of their home fans. And on the opening kickoff, well, check this out. It would be bobbled by the Cardinals' Wyatt Sciarra, but when he picks it up, he's got a crease, makes a couple of people miss, and well, see ya. He's off to the races, 90 yards to the crib. BR going to go up 7-0. Chippewa Hills, they're trying to get some offense going on their first drive. Clay Farrell breaks a tackle, picks up some nice yards, but that drive would end up stalling out. And on the Warriors' punt attempt, the Cardinals are coming after it. Dan Langle blocks it and falls on it for the Cardinals. The great play on special teams would set them up, and Garrett Foster would punch it in from 7 yards out. BR goes up 14-0. Ferris State's Brutus the Bulldog, he's loving that one on the sidelines. The Cardinals, they control this game on both sides of the ball from start to finish. They get the win at 49-7.
Now up in Traverse City, the TC West Titans have rattled off 3 straight wins to start the year. Tonight they face a tough test at home, however, against the Grand Blanc Bobcats. Grand Blanc would receive the opening kickoff into the hands of Jeremiah Coleman, who makes one move, gets outside, and it would be a foot race into the end zone. He would go to put the Bobcats up by 7 on the very first play. They'd get a stop and have the ball back around the 40. Jake Moreau tosses a screen to Malachi Evans, who has some good blocks ahead of him, and this big-time gain would set up this field goal attempt later on to make the game 10-0, but the kick would come up well short. West with the ball now. Owen Hendricks fakes and rolls left, and he would heave with pressure in his face, and it would be intercepted. Timothy McDermott steps in front of it to give the ball back. Now second quarter, and the Titans able to make a big-time stop of their own on this QB keep. on 4th down to force a turnover. But West had the turnover bug tonight. This in the end zone in double coverage is snatched away by Matthew Evans. And then towards the end of the half, looking end zone again, but Nathan Sezimbara becomes the receiver as Grand Blanc gets that interception and goes on to blank TC West 31-0. Don't go anywhere. We're just getting started on Sports Overtime. Double Overtime is next, and we've got 5 more games coming your way.
Welcome back to Double Overtime. We're going to head on back to the Highland Conference and to Everett, where the Wildcats were looking at their 3rd win of the year. The Pine River Bucks looking to move to 500. Picked things up at the start of the 4th. Wildcats up 42-14, but it'd be the Bucks drive. A nice pass from Hunter Johnson to Eli Smith. That one would be enough for a Bucks first down. Very next play from scrimmage would get kind of crazy. The ball would be fumbled, and there's a scramble for it. There's helmets on the ground. The ball's still on the ground, but eventually Johnson would land on it for Pine River. And they would end up scoring later on the drive as Mason Google would punch that one in from inside the 5 to cut the deficit. But the Wildcats, they were still slinging it around. Check out this dime from Aiden Anderson to Noah Vanderland right in the breadbasket for a big gain. And a little bit later, Everett would add to their lead. It's Vanderland walking in for a touchdown. The Wildcats would roll in this one, 49-20, the final score.
And Manton was on the road against Lake City tonight, seeking to right the ship after a little bit of a rocky start. Lake City was 1-2 entering the night and got the ball out of half. And on the very second play, Robbie Root gets through the second level and is seeing green all the way to the end zone to cut their deficit to 2 points, 16-14. And the Rangers would look to respond later on this 4th down conversion attempt from the running back, but would get stuffed. There's a ton of Trojans in on the play, and they take over on downs. Now looking to capitalize, it's Sean Fox who takes the handoff and shows some burst to find the edge and pick up a 16-yard gain. Then Ian McLeod rolls and finds Fox again on this pitch and catch that gets them down to around the 25. And the Trojans would ground and pound their way down to the 2-yard line and punch it in to take the lead for the first time in the second half, 22-16. Lake City would get the ball back in the 4th and pick up this nice gain on the pass, but Manton would go on to score and win this one, 24-22 for their first win of the season.
And 2 ranked Division I 8-man UP teams clash in Pickford this evening. The number 5 Ishpeming Hematites made the 3-hour trip to take on the number 4 Panthers. Pickford's first possession, 2nd and 7 on their own 35. Tommy Story can get the call and keep it and hurdle a defender, gets 10 yards and the first down. A couple plays later, Panthers going to run the counter with Gunnar Bennon getting the ball. He works hard for the 11-yard gain and the Pickford Panthers first down. Eventually, Pickford would have it 1st and goal on the 5. Coach Rader calling on Story to finish the drive, and, well, he would do it with ease. 2-point conversion would also be good. The blue and white 4th and 8 at midfield run the counter to Ethan Korp. He's eventually brought down by Bennon after the 18-yard gain, but their drive stalls out due to the solid Panthers D. First play of the second possession, Story fakes the counter, keeps the rock, and, well, adios. Down the sideline he goes, nothing but wide open field. Takes it all the way in for the 66-yard score. The Panthers flex their muscles, winning big, 65-14.
Now heading to Marion, where the Eagles are fresh off an 82-34 victory last week and look to stay undefeated against Bear Lake. The Lakers are 1-2 on the year and received the opening kickoff, but were quickly stifled as Mason Cruzon meets the back almost immediately after the exchange, and they would force a punt. And Marion has a workhorse, and his name is Parker Wyrick. Here he is on a swing pass, makes the first man miss, and gets up the sideline for a strong 30-yard gain. A few plays later, Mason Munn drops back to pass and heaves up a deep shot to Ethan Johnson, who hauls it in and puts the Eagles inside of the red zone. And that would allow Wyrick to take the ball on the sweep and tiptoe his way into the end zone for a 7-0 lead. Bear Lake could just not get anything going on offense as quarterback Grady Harless takes the snap and is dragged down by 2 Eagle defenders. Late in the first now, Marion on 4th down, and quarterback Ethan Johnson calls his own number. They'd get the first down, and the Eagles would go on to win this one, 46-7.
And in Rudyard, the 1-2 Bulldogs welcome in the 3-0 Ontonagon Gladiators. The Bulldogs getting their first win of the season in a close one in Brimley last week, while the Gladiators lost a close one 46-40 against Newberry. Rudyard up 22-14 at the half. Damon McDowell going to keep the ball, gain a solid 9 yards for the first down for the Dogs. A few plays later, McDowell getting the call again, plowing through the Gladiator D to gain 6 more yards. 2nd and 5 on the 10. Coach Suggett gives McDowell the call to keep it up the middle. He would go untouched in for the score. 2-point try would be good. Gladiators looking to respond. Caden Bessinen looks to have some room to run, but Emmett Grenfell and Jackson Clark are there to put him out of bounds. Eventually it's 4th and long for the Glads. Owen Panty dropping back to pass, launches the rock, but Clark is there for the pick and the nice return for Rudyard. A few plays later, it's that McDowell dude, and well, he's going to plow in for another touchdown. This one from 14 yards out. Rudyard making a statement tonight. They win big 50-20. And let's check in on some of the other games happening around Northern Michigan. The Clare Pioneers beat the Gladwin Flying G's 26-21, a big Jack Pine Conference win for them. Traverse City Central was on the road, taking on the Mount Pleasant Oilers. The Oilers got the win in that one, 35-14, the final score. Charlevoix took down East Jordan in a tight one, 26-20. Some could call that one an upset. The Red Devils suffer their first loss of the season. Kingsley and Boyne City squared off. That one also ended 26-20. Kingsley taking home the win in that one. And coming up next in sports, hear from the new Pit Spitters field manager and what he hopes to achieve with the team. That's after the break.
Traverse City Pit Spitters have announced their new field manager following the departure of Josh Rebant after last season. Todd Reed was the choice to be just the second Pit Spitters field manager in the club's history. And it should come as no surprise, he was the bench coach last year and is the winningest coach at 2 colleges, both Eastern Nazarene and Olivet Nazarene, where he racked up more than 500 wins. He left Olivet in 2019 to help Josh bring the Pit Spitters not only to relevance, but to a championship level.
Josh and I have always approached it more like a college program in a way that we wanted to create a culture with the guys, that development was first. That was our most important thing, and just felt real responsibility to continue to build on what Josh and I have been able to be a part of.
Reed also says he's focused on making Traverse City a transformative experience for athletes and develop them in coordination with how their college coaches would like.
And the Ferris State Bulldogs have a weekend off after last week's thumping of Ashland. The Dogs beat the Eagles 43-3. Trinidad Chambliss was named GLIAC Player of the Week after the performance. He accounted for 4 total touchdowns, running for 2 and passing for 2. This week, there was more of a relaxed vibe around Top Tiger Field as players who maybe are lower on the depth chart or younger players got some more reps. We got to ask a couple members of the team how they're spending their bye-week weekend.
I'm actually going to support 2 of my former assistants, and Steve Casula and Lou Esposito at Michigan. So Espo's their D-line coach, and Casula's the tight end coach, and so we're going to watch Michigan play.
Ice tubs, training room, and then for the most part, when I'm done with my day, I go sit in the house. I go lay down, man. Sit down, do some homework, watch some TV. That's pretty much it for me.
The Dogs are back in action next weekend at American International College. And coming up next on Sports Overtime, the Tigers are playing meaningful baseball late into September. Find out how they fared, plus previews of college football teams around the state. That's after the break.
The Detroit Tigers came into tonight tied with the Twins for the final wild card spot in the American League.
It's pretty incredible, isn't it? This run that the Tigers are on. Hottest team in baseball. Tonight they were on the road taking on the Baltimore Orioles. But I don't think things went the Tigers' way tonight, unfortunately. The Orioles, they got the win 7-1. It was a tough one from start to finish for Detroit. They ended up giving up 5 home runs and actually managed to get on the board until the 9th inning. They'll look to bounce back tomorrow in the second game of the series.
And only a half game back, so only one. Heading over to college football, the Central Michigan Chippewas will open up the MAC play on Saturday as they welcome the Ball State Cardinals to Kelly Short Stadium. This is the 49th year that CMU will be in the Mid-American Conference as they return home after a tough loss against Illinois last week. And the Chippewas found themselves in a 1-score game at half, but the Illini pulled away in the second half. CMU has won 5 of their last 6 games and have a 19-8 overall record at home with Jim McElwain at the helm. For Ball State, they're coming off a 62-0 loss against Miami. Kickoff is scheduled for 1 p.m. in Mount Pleasant.
Should be a good game. I'll be there in Mount Pleasant, so I'm excited for that one. And the Michigan Wolverines, they're playing their first game of Big Ten play on Saturday afternoon when they'll welcome the USC Trojans to the Big House. This one, the 11th meeting between the two schools. 8 of the previous 10 have come in the Rose Bowl, with the Trojans winning 6 of those games. For the Wolverines, Alex Orji will be making his first start of the season at quarterback, taking over for Davis Warren. Michigan, they've won 16 of their last 18 Big Ten openers. Kickoff will be at 3:30. You can catch that game right here on 9 and 10. And Jake, how do you think that the Wolverines are going to fare this week with Alex Orji in at quarterback?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I wonder if they'll change the offense. You know, he's using his legs more, so maybe they try to support that a little more than they did with Davis. What do you think?
I think they're going to use the ground game a whole lot. You know, Sherrone Moore, he loves toting the rock, so I think we get to see a lot of rock totage tomorrow.
Now upstate just a little bit, the Michigan State Spartans will head on the road this Saturday to take on the Boston College Eagles. This will be the Spartans' final non-conference game of the season, and they are looking to start 4-0 for the first time since 2021. Saturday will be the 7th meeting between the two teams, with Boston College leading the all-time series. Kickoff is scheduled for 8 p.m. in Chestnut Hill. And Jaden, last week Boston College played Missouri. You're in
Missouri,
alumni.
my Missouri Tigers.
Give us a scouting report.
They Castellanos, their quarterback, he's fast. He kind of looks like he's Kyler Murray-esque. So Spartans fans, if you see a man running around in the backfield and throwing a lot like Kyler Murray, that's Mr. Castellanos, and he caused us quite a few problems. So, but also the Detroit Lions, they're in action on Sunday, of course, making the long trip to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Here's the final injury report of the week for the Lions, at least. 2 Lions players are listed as out for Sunday's matchup. Ifeatu Melifonwu's dealing with an ankle, and Ennis Rakestraw Jr. with a hamstring. Terrion Arnold, Graham Glasgow, and Alex Anzalone, they're all listed as questionable, but all practiced in some capacity on Friday, which is a good sign. Kickoff is scheduled for 4:25. You can catch that one over on Local 32. How do you think the Lions are going to do tomorrow? They're on Sunday, sorry.
Sunday. You know, it's going to be a tight one. I think they're playing a team that's a lot better than people think, and
underrated
coming
group.
off a loss.
We were just talking about Kyler Murray.
Yep.
Kind of, but it'll be interesting to see kind of how that game goes. Big measuring stick game for both of those teams.
That's right.
That's what I was talking about with Eric on the 4 a couple days ago.
Kyler Murray just played the Rams as well, so they'll have some stuff on film to look at.
No, exactly. And that'll be a wrap on Sports Overtime. You can catch all the highlights from tonight's show over on 9and10news.com.
Thanks so much for sticking around with us. The Late Show, Stephen Colbert is next. Have a great night.
And weekend.